my YouTube lovers, and welcome back to day 2 of Vlogmas. I decided to share with you guys some of my top tips that you need to do before you book your next cruise. Now, this is pretty much geared to new cruisers. These are some things that you need to think about before you call your particular travel agent or call the cruise lines. There are some things that to sit back and think on and you need to do before you book your cruise. So I decided doing Vlogmas to share with you guys some cruise tips. You know, what better gift to give to you guys than some cruise tips from things that I have learned over the past. So it's gonna be some tips that may be geared towards the new cruises and some tips that may be just geared towards if you cruised before, never even thought about. No. So I'm gonna share with you guys some of my cruise tips doing Vlogmas. Because you know I'm a cruiser. This channel deals a lot of cruising, deals with weight loss journey, deals with my life. So I'm going to share with you guys my favorite subject, some cruise tips. And so this will be Cruising 101. Just the top things you do before you make that initial call to anybody. Okay, so the first thing you do is know is, where do you want to go? You want to book a cruise. I think we want to go on a cruise, guys. Where do you want to go? These are questions that they're going to ask you on the phone. Hi, my name is so-and-so. Where do you want to go? So there's certain places you need to think about where you want to go because it all ties into, you're going to the Caribbean. You want to go to Alaska. You want to go to Europe. You want to go to Mexico. Determining where you want to go trickle down so many other questions that you will be asked when you first initially book your cruise. So if you say, hey, I want to go to the Caribbean, there are certain ports, ports meaning the place your ship leaves from, that you can cruise from. If you want to go to the Caribbean, you can't leave, for example, out of Seattle, you know, because that port doesn't cruise to the Caribbean. So determining where you want to go is number one key factor for you, because that also ties into what port you would leave out of or you choose to leave out of. The next question or you need to think about is, when do you want to go? That determines a lot, okay, when you want to go. If you choose to cruise during the summer months, when your kids are out of school, if you want to take a family vacation, prices are usually higher. I know, I cruise a lot in the summer. If you want to choose to cruise in the early fall, which is hurricane season, the prices are cheaper, but you're going through hurricane season. If you want to cruise over the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the price is also higher because it's holiday. Spring break is higher. But if you choose the cruise during the off season when the kids are in school, your price will be a little bit lower. So determining when you want to go plays a huge factor in price. Also, when you want to go plays a factor if you can go to a certain port. For example, my husband and I just booked a cruise to Alaska for October of 2020. We are avid Carnival cruisers. However, Carnival wasn't going to Alaska anymore in October we wanted to go. So we are now cruising on Norwegian Cruise Line to go to Alaska. So that's a whole other story. So that plays a factor of when you want to go, as far as if you want to choose a certain cruise line you want to go on. So determining when you want to go is very important. Next thing you want to think about is who you want to go with. I cruise with my girls. I host the annual girls trip every year. I have cruised with my husband. I cruise with my family, and I have cruised just taking one of my kids and we cruise together. And I've cruised with my sister, and I've cruised with big groups I met on Facebook. So that all plays a role into who you want to travel with, because if you choose to just go with you and your husband, you know you guys can budget around just 2 in the cabin. If you want to take some of your girls, 3 in the cabin, that's a different price category. Determine if you want to cruise with your family. For us, we had to take 2 cabins, so that's determining our price, what we're going to pay. All this determines your cruise experience, who you want to go with. So it's important to figure out who you want to go with before, because they're going to ask you this question: who are you traveling with? So think about that before you decide to book your cruise. Next thing is how long you want to go. So my first cruise, like many people, I think, many first-time cruise, we went to the Bahamas. And Bahamas cruise is usually a 3-day cruise. You go to Bahamas, you come back. Most people that I know, first cruise was to the Bahamas. It's like a rookie cruise, a smaller cruise. Get your sea legs. You know, you don't want to jump out there and go on an 8 or 9 day or 14-day cruise and you don't like cruising. So I chose to do a smaller cruise, but you can do like 2 to 5 day cruises, 6 to 8 day cruises, then you have longer cruises. So determining how long you want to go on your cruise determines a lot. It determines if your boss will get much time off. It's going to determine the price that you're going to pay. It's going to determine what port you need to leave from, because you choose to go on a shorter cruise. For example, with Carnival, a lot of ports don't have shorter cruises. I don't think Seattle has a 2-day cruise or 3-day cruise that they go to. So that determines where you're going to leave from. And most importantly, before you book your cruise, is determining how much you want to spend for a cruise. Based off everything I told you guys earlier, where you want to go, when you want to go, who you taking, how long you want to go, it also important to determine your cost, how much you want to spend. Because you can have all those items checked off your list and say, hey, I want to spend XYZ dollars. Well, you can get a inside cabin with everything you want on your list, but not a balcony cabin. Or if you say, hey, I want to get a balcony, so I'm going to make sure I put a little bit more money in my budget. So if you're a first-time cruiser and you decide I have a small budget, inside cabin, you can get pretty much everything you want on your wish list. You know, there's a cheaper cabin category. If you decide, hey, I really want that balcony feel, plan to budget a little bit more money because balconies cost a little bit more. And then there's different categories on the ship, which I get to in another video. But this is just the basics, determining your cost. And this is just the basic cost of what you want to pay for your cruise. Not talking about what you're going to do in the islands or the little extra stuff on the boat. This is just basic. I'm finna book a cruise. What are they going to ask me when I make that phone call? And last but certainly not least, what are you doing right now? You come to YouTube, you found my video, you watch this video for information. Before I book any cruise, I love to go to YouTube, me personally, and research my cruise. When I decided to book the Norwegian cruise, I went to YouTube and I researched Norwegian Cruise Line, researched the ship I was thinking about, just so I can get an idea feel of that ship for me. And also just hear somebody else's opinion about if they went to the Bahamas, they liked the Bahamas, if they went to Mexico, went to Alaska, went to Europe, just to do a little research. So definitely before you book your cruise, if you think about it, come to YouTube. There's so much information out here that you can get for your cruise, and you can learn a bit more about your cruise before you book it. So I hope these tips help you book your fun-filled vacation, whether you're cruising through Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean. These tips can help you across the board with booking your next cruise adventure. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for coming back for day 2 of Vlogmas. I'll see you guys tomorrow, day 3 of Vlogmas. Peace, my loves.